Welcome to the Circle of Trust podcast with your host, law firm CMO Keith Dyer. Brought to you by LEXGRO, the leader in law firm marketing strategy, training, and implementation. If you're ready to grow your law firm with predictable case flow and revenue, you're in the right place.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Circle of Trust. I'm joined by South African lawyer and entrepreneur Nicolene Schoeman-Louw. Did I get it right?
You did. Thank you.
We practiced that beforehand, so we made sure I got it right. Nicolene, I know you're in South Africa. I read your bio, and I see that you are part entrepreneur, part attorney. Tell us about your practice and what you do and how you help the good people of South Africa or the good people of the world.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Our firm is just 20 years in existence. We're touching the 20-year benchmark, something we are very excited about. I started the firm when I was in my mid-20s, and the idea was to create a platform where practitioners could find their niche, could unleash their potential and become the very best practitioner that they could possibly become, and to really leverage the diversity from a skills point of view, from a focus area point of view, and a world view point of view. So that was the conceptualization that we took to market. And we also then decided to be very focused on serving the legal needs of the decision makers within businesses. We call them entrepreneurs. I know there's a bit of a difference in interpretation, but someone with a serial entrepreneur, a really successful person with years of experience, is also an entrepreneur, not just someone who's thinking about or ideating a concept. Our focus has always been there. Why? Because if we can allow more businesses to grow and scale within our jurisdiction, that then means we can create a more participatory economy, and ultimately it's good for every single one of us. So that's our focus, and that's what we've brought to the market, and it's been a very unique focus that we are very excited about.
Yeah, you've been in business for 20 years. It's obviously something that's needed. So let me make sure I completely understand, because I find it really cool. So you basically help entrepreneurs with their legal needs and even maybe business advice and business understanding of their business, and in their journey as they start and all the way through their growth.
Absolutely. So as the business starts to grow and become more sustainable, the needs naturally change. So we've built a solution that really supports the business owner in the season they find themselves in. So whether it is early at ideation, and we need to look at a solid legal foundation, regulatory compliance, basic agreements, and so forth. And then we evolve that into how do we align our marketing message to our service delivery? How do we enhance our service delivery, avoid waste? How do we become more efficient? That's where the legal project management thinking comes in. And then ultimately, are we agile? Are we exit ready? Is there business continuity in place? So then the conversation evolves into making sure we've created an asset as opposed to just having a job and answering to oneself.
Yeah, that's great. And at the end of the day, you are creating an asset with hopefully some sort of exit strategy for the owner, right? So I get that. So you've been in business for 20 some years now. Tell us about how you market your own firm and how you gather clients for yourself, and maybe some of the frustrations that you had doing that or successes.
I think for many lawyers, particularly maybe in South Africa, we spend so much time focusing on our craft, legal knowledge and skill development, that we are never really taught, or the realization comes very late, that the law firm is also a business. And as a result of that, I think we are taught a lot of really poor strategies at university, at early on when we are young practitioners. So I think the frustrations for me 20 years ago was really to realize what I've been taught is really not helpful in terms of marketing strategies, in
It's
terms
the
of
same,
building
same in the US.
rapport.
Sorry, the same exact thing. Yeah. Sorry.
Exactly. So the realization that this is not going to help me pay my bills at the end of the month and hopefully pay my salaries and so forth, that was a bit of a shock to the system, to be honest. So for me, I think there were two things that I would say I wish I knew earlier. One is showcasing your ability. I found content marketing to be extremely powerful in that space. And then secondly, your networks. And again, I do feel very strongly that we should be teaching our young practitioners at university how important it is to be able to network well. I
For
find
sure.
that we don't have these skills. So that's obviously a more long-term strategy. Networking doesn't get you that referral tomorrow.
Right.
If it does, you are super lucky. But relationship building in a networking context takes a lot of time and concerted, mindful effort. And I think we have to be very clear on where we're spending our time and whether we're spending it within the correct networks.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Is there any kind of fear that you have about maybe your marketing that you could talk about? Like, do you ever worry that maybe what you're doing will stop working or what you've done is change because the world is just changing so rapidly in front of our faces? Do you ever have fears about your marketing and how it would continue to work or not work?
I think all of us should be fearful because algorithms change. What
For sure.
worked 10 years ago, like a dream, just doesn't work anymore. So I think we would be amiss if we were not concerned about that. But I also think it's important, even as we advocate to our clients who are business owners predominantly, we've got a very small segment of clients that are not business owners or decision makers. I think it's important for us to be authentic with what we're putting out there. So if you are content marketing, we need to be in touch with what our communities are looking for. Our clients are, we need to know who our ideal client is for
Right.
starters. We
Absolutely.
need to know the market that we are aiming for.
How to find them and touch them.
Exactly. To be very targeted and very specific. What are their concerns? What are their needs? We've been taught to market in a way, look at how good I am. Very selfish, actually almost narcissistic if we think about it. Whilst our clients are looking, can you help me make this easier? How
Yeah.
difficult
Solve
is
my
it going to
problem.
become? Exactly. Do you get my problem? Am I
Uh-huh.
going to be able to trust you? And how do we forge that? So I think, yes, I am concerned, but I think one of the ways to make it less of a stressor to worry about is to go back to authenticity and who we are aiming to reach and what problems are we aiming to solve. Who are we as a citizen of our communities? Yes, that's where our clients emanate from, but what do we do in return? What's the reciprocation for receiving the clientele, for receiving the revenue? What are we giving back? And philanthropy is a good thing to do, but I think we need to be very mindful, not just to helicopter in, drop some philanthropy and helicopter out. Be very authentic and concerted in our efforts. Then I think the stress becomes less. But algorithms will change, and you need someone in your corner that knows how these things work. As a lawyer, you don't always have time. So surround yourself with some good people and be authentic. That would be my two key takeouts.
Yeah, I think the way I've always heard it, to reiterate what you're saying, is customer or clients are looking for you to solve a problem they can't solve or to give them a result that they can't attain on their own, right?
Yes,
That's always how
absolutely.
I've always viewed
Mm.
it. So in your journey, in your process of finding solutions for your own marketing, what are some of the ways that you found solutions? And are there any particular books, or for our listeners, are there any particular books or courses or experts that you like to listen to and learn from?
I think that's a loaded question for someone like me because I love reading.
I'm the
So I
same
don't.
way. I'm a junkie for any educational program that I can take or course that I can learn from. I just love all of that, and it's almost overloaded. I almost overload myself with it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, absolutely. So to pick one is pretty hard for me, but one that in a strange way has made a lasting impact on me. And I know this is more written for startups and in the tech space specifically, is the lean startup. And really, it's really for me, for law firms. We are so distracted now with the rise of AI, with the big new shiny object. We shouldn't get distracted with that, right? I think technology is an enabler. It's there to make lives easier for our customers or clients and for ourselves.
Absolutely.
But be careful not to reinvent your processes by just simply following the new big shiny object. Really think about, and this is the key nugget from that book, think about what works. What does the market want? What is valuable to them? Not necessarily what you think they will find valuable. So we need to put something out there that we can test, really collect our data and make good decisions. So that would be my first one. And then traction is the second one. This is
Yeah,
very
Gino,
nerdy, but
I've read
really
this.
great.
It's Gino Wickman, right?
Exactly. So please, let's look at data and let's make data informed decisions. If something works, keep doing it. But how do you know if it works? At some point, our intuition really needs the data. We need the data to make good decisions. So start tracking the data. I think that's a very important point for all of us. Start tracking the data. Look at what is useful, and a marketing consultant or agency with the know-how can really be helpful in what are the marketing metrics that we want to be tracking to see how long does it take to convert a lead, what does it cost us, what time cost is there, what direct cost is there, and can we maybe bring that down, or is that just what our lead cycle looks like? But lawyers on average can't answer these questions when we ask them, especially if the firm
They
starts
don't.
having some trouble. Then we ask them, where do you find, who is your market? It can't be everyone. It can't be for, what's the need? What's the problem you're solving? Who's the market? Where do you find your clients? How long does it take to onboard them? We need to know the answers
Yeah,
to
you get
these
into the
questions,
detailed
guys.
Yeah, you identify what the key metrics are, and you track them at a minimum of once a month, right? That's what I say. And you
Absolutely.
go through it with your team, and everybody understands what the metrics are, and they use them to make the business and the marketing or whatever aspect of the business better.
Absolutely.
If you had to guess how much you've invested in your career to learn about marketing your firm or building your firm, what would you guess the answer to be? For me, it's six figures minimum I've spent. I'm wondering what your experience has been there.
I completely agree with you. And I think as a decision maker in a law firm, we are trained at being lawyers. We are not trained at being leaders or business owners or marketers or all these other functions our businesses need to fulfill. And the issue with that is we need to go and do these courses, and we need to read, and we need to read a lot in order to understand what your service provider is trying to tell you. Yes, we do leverage the external expertise, and it helps a lot. If you are aligned with good people, it's immeasurable in value. And I'm not just talking about the actual expense, the time saving, the strategic advantage above the competition. But if you don't understand what the metrics mean and what the lingo means, that's a real problem. So I agree with you,
Yeah, you got
Keith,
to
it
learn
has to be
it.
a six figure. It has to be a six figure.
Yeah. Okay, good. And you feel like you've spent that much money in your own journey to learn. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you never stop either, right? You're continuously learning because there's just the world changes so fast. And I agree with you about what you said a minute ago about AI. We are in a golden era with this thing, and it's just amazing how much it's helped me in my own business and content creation and business ideas and just having something to organize quickly and get juxtaposition on my thoughts. And I love it. It's exciting to me. I'm not scared of it. Of course, there should be some, not fear, there should be some understanding of what its potential could be and how we control it. But at the same time, I just think it's going to really hyper advance our entire society and over time, and I'm excited about that. So anyway, back to the marketing. If you're for your own firm or even for other law firms or other businesses, when someone has their marketing ideally in place, what does that look like for you? For example, if you had the ideal situation for your marketing, it was working at its best, what would that look like for you?
I think ultimately we have to think what we are seeking to achieve through our marketing. Of course, the immediate need is obviously to increase revenue. We need more clients, we need more money at its very basis point. But I think for me, because of the fact that we wanted to create a platform, a firm that would allow new practitioners entering the marketplace a place where they could really find themselves as their professional identity and become experts, the really best at what they do, and to do so within a very flexible, agile environment. For us, the brand and customer loyalty and trust in the brand is super important. So for me, I think it depends where you are in your law firm journey. But ultimately, you want, when a customer or anyone sees your logo or a very important segment of your firm's logo, you want certain emotions to arise. You want people to think certain things. You want people to think honesty, justice. These are people that are fighting the good fight and where I will matter. So those are some of the words that I would like to think people think about when they see our logo.
Yeah, you want integrity, a
Absolutely.
trusted partner, someone that it brings positive emotions and positive thinking. I get that. That's the whole purpose of the brand, right?
Absolutely. And then, of course, you would want to know, in an ideal world, that how are you benchmarking against other lead cycles in similar industries? Otherwise, you don't have data to look at new technologies. We spoke about AI, and I know we don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but AI allows us, if we have a clear understanding of what key functions take a lot of time, that shouldn't take a lot of time, and how AI can help us enhance the efficiency.
Yeah.
It helps us to have the data to see where are our bottlenecks in our lead cycles. What are the changes to algorithms that we need to understand in order to adapt as quickly as possible? Time. The world moves very fast now, and it will only get worse. So for me, I think we need to have the data to enable us to adjust and to adjust strategically well as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and the more we advance technologically, the faster we advance technologically.
Absolutely.
It's really, if you've ever stepped back and thought about this, I have. If you look at the world over the past 10,000 years or whatever, and you look at from 10,000 years ago up until 150 years ago, the world changed, certainly. There were advances and there were things, but for the most part, there was an agrarian society. There were cities and things of that nature, of course. But what you look at in the past 150 years in advancement is just mind-boggling. Airplanes, internet, televisions, computers, the computer chip, AI, all these things came about and they just seem to be coming faster and faster. And I do think AI will even advance that further. So when you're working, just to switch gears again too, when you're working with your different companies and for yourself, and you see a business growing, when they're in, what are they like when they're in trouble? Like when you get to them and what are they feeling and what are they doing? What's going on inside their company or inside the firms or your firm? Whenever things are not going well, what's the pain that they're experiencing?
I would love people to see these, what I'm about to share with you. I call that my golden nugget. I would love for people to actually recognize this earlier as being a problem that can spiral out of control. The first would be office politics, right? So I know we are all in virtual environments or in hybrid environments post-COVID. Our firm has been looking at a flexibility model for a long time, even before then. But I think
people can work from home and office, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know that becomes more difficult to pick up on, but that's why it's important to look at having regular interactions where this could become apparent. So firstly, office politics, disengagement, right? So when you get the sense that team members are withdrawing or not participating in team meetings as they used to or should, that's a very important sign that our level of trust in our organization is decreasing. And the minute that starts to happen, it starts to snowball. So office politics, disengagement can also look like, and it really increases in its intensity when we see people are actually working harder. Some are working very hard and others are not working hard at all. There's a complete imbalance of contribution within the greater team. That's our second hotter, if you want to call it that, indication. And then, of course, things become so difficult to do. 10 people have to sign off on something.
Yeah.
For us to do something fairly simple.
They create their own barriers to success.
So we are starting to hire people, and I want the listeners to think of a casino. We hire people in a casino to watch people who watch people. That's what we do, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because no one trusts each other. We don't want that in any of our workplaces. Ultimately, if we don't get this under control, then we're creating an opportunity for something really bad to happen. Fraud, embezzlement, all these really bad things that can happen to any business, not just in a law firm. But it starts off with an environment where there's low trust. We start treating each other as unworthy of being trusted. That then spirals out of control into our customer base. Those are the warning signs. Ultimately, we see bad reviews being posted. We start seeing things like customers not paying their bills.
Yeah.
So that's
it spreads everywhere.
the snowball. And it all started with, if you think about it, with water cooler chatter, gossiping, people rather being negative or spiraling the negative than doing what they were hired in the organization to do. And often, if we really think about it, that's where it always starts. So that's my nugget for the day.
I love that nugget, and that's a good way to describe it. And you're right. People make everything happen. Even the AI and everything, it still requires execution, and it requires integrity and people that are good people to work for you. So hiring is the most important aspect probably of your entire business, and getting that and having a really solid process and how you do it and understanding your ethics and values and goals and mission and all of that. So everybody's on board with the same ideas, right? And they're the same kind of people. I like to hire people I feel like that fit the culture of my business. So a lot of times that culture is really focused around the owner or the leader of the business. It will take on the characteristics of the owner, the business will. I've also found that. So right now in your own marketing, if you could wave a magic wand and everything would be great, what would that look like for your particular firm and your marketing? Is there anything you're missing right now? We'll close on this question because I just want to get your last ideas about even your own law firm marketing. If you could wave a magic wand and get a program that delivered everything, what would that look like to you?
So I think AI is something we've embraced very openly. I think you need to know how to discern the good from the bad, especially from a research point of view. These language models are not quite where we want them to be. So for me, I would like to fast track the machine learning on our own AI endeavors that we've implemented 10 months ago. We've deployed an AI-driven chatbot on our website. It works fantastically.
Congratulations. That's terrific. I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, please do. But it would be great if it would learn a bit faster. So it makes a few errors. Most of it has been resolved. But I think if I could wave a magic wand, it would be to get this thing to be as accurate as it could be, and even better than the human. That would be my one wish.
Okay, that's great. What are the actual goals for the firm for the next 5 or 6 years? What would you like to grow to be or become?
At the moment, we would want to expand our headcount slightly. We don't want to become the next big corporate law firm. We love
Being
a friend of mine. As a beautiful way of articulating this, we love being a speedboat. We are fearful of becoming a Titanic for obvious reasons.
Oh, that's a great one. I love that. I might borrow that one. Well,
please do.
Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. So we would love to remain agile. So slight headcount increase, and we would very much like to be seen as the authority on our areas of focus, which is business law. And we've expanded that into tech law, very new in South Africa, very much exciting and developing. So we're looking at jurisdictions like the US and parts of Europe for what this could look like in our jurisdiction. So those would be our two areas that we would want to be the authority on and grow into.
That's great. And I wish you the best of luck with that. And thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to wrap it up now. I don't want to take any more of your precious time there. But thank you so much for talking to us, and we appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Circle of Trust powered by LEXGRO. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow us and leave a review. Want to grow your law firm faster? Book a free strategy call at lexgro.com. Until next time, keep growing, keep innovating. Let's grow with LEXGRO.